it's about the Moon Armstrong who went to the moon or whatever his name was, and there was like no. It's impossible for the human to go after 200 kilometers,
exactly.
because you're
They're
gonna
trying
die,
now
and
to
nobody solved this problem,
Exactly.
So forget about Mars. You can just go
Mars,
around
we
the world,
need to
you know,
do
a little
moon,
bit,
the moon again.
2 times and come back.
All right, guys, it's 6 o'clock local time here in Bali. It's time for Bitcoin Filter. We do this every Tuesday night. So hopefully, if you guys find yourself in Bali on a Tuesday night, you'll come join us. Also, we are broadcasting live on the interwebs. Welcome to all the people who are here online. We've got a great show, something really interesting and unique tonight. Yeah, it's a really special night. We've been talking about alternative currencies for the last few weeks, and tonight we're going to talk about NXT. But not only are we going to talk about NXT, we've got someone who's actually built a startup company on the NXT platform. So really, really cool night tonight. And well, let's kick things off. We'll start with, well, let me share my screen here. Just bear with me. There we go. Now everyone's going to see what we've got up on the screen here. There we go. Okay, so we're coming to you live from Ubud. It's a co-working space in downtown Ubud, Bali. And it's a great place to work, and they're nice enough to furnish this nice air-conditioned room for us. A few of you were a little bit cold. It's starting to get a little chilly. And is this considered winter or summer? We're in the southern hemisphere, so
it's the dry season.
It's the dry season. All right. So anyway, we are live at Ubud, and if you're in Bali, come check out Ubud, and certainly on Tuesday night, come join us. If you're not here with us in person, we do this virtually on Facebook. We've got the Bitcoins in Bali Facebook group, and people can post stories here. And then we discuss it online, and if it's a really interesting story, sometimes it comes up when we get together in person. So if you haven't already done so, join the group and join the discussion. We're also on Twitter. We're trying to make this Bitcoins in Bali hashtag a thing. So if you want to have a discussion about anything that we talk about on the show, or if you want to get our attention, you can see us on Twitter and just do the Bitcoins in Bali hashtag. I've got a tweet all queued up here. Hopefully we can get someone's attention on Twitter and they can join us for the online portion of the show. All right. All right, let's talk about price. Over the course of the last week, we've gone between $244 and $231 per Bitcoin. That's a little bit of a range, about I don't know, about 10 bucks, 13 bucks, something like that. Right now we're sitting at $234.54 per Bitcoin. Kind of boring lately in terms of the price. You know, when I first got involved with Bitcoin, it would go up and down by 10% in a day, but it's been pretty steady lately. So not that interesting to talk about. We're in Indonesia, so let's take a look at the Indonesian price. This is Bitcoin.co.id, the most liquid Indonesian exchange for Indonesian rupiah, and we're just over 3 million rupiah for one Bitcoin on the Indonesian exchange. All right, local announcements. I think it was week before last, we did our Bitcoin 101. We do this on the second Saturday of each month here at Ubud. We try to get people interested who have never, ever even heard of Bitcoin before. Maybe they've seen an article or there's a little bit of interest. We get together on a Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. We assume they know nothing. We talk a little bit about what Bitcoin is, and we do some hands-on too. People bring their laptop and their phone, and we give them a little bit of Bitcoin to play with, and teach them how to store it and use it and spend it. We even go to lunch at a local place that accepts Bitcoin after the Bitcoin 101 class. So the next one is June 13th. If you've got any friends that are interested in Bitcoin, why not have them join us? It's a fun day. All right, that's the local news. We've also got a little bit of local news from 37 Coins. And with this, I wanted to turn it over to Miriam. Miriam, tell us a little bit about what 37 Coins is first, and then a little bit about what's going on.
Yeah, so we're a Silicon Valley startup. We do financial inclusion for people who don't have a bank account, and we allow them to exchange money and hold money on a feature phone. That means they can exchange money over SMS and just need to know the phone number of someone else.
So a feature phone is like a dumb phone, right? Like not a smartphone.
Exactly.
Not a smartphone.
So
feature phone's like a nice way to say it.
Yeah, they can communicate with their wallet over SMS, so they can send money over SMS and check the account over SMS and things like that. And we just set up 2 gateways in Indonesia lately, so we can live test it now here. So if you want to test it later.
So I actually have a dumb phone, a feature phone.
With a clever phone too.
I can? Okay.
As long as it can.
But I want to see what it's like to actually trade Bitcoins with a little phone.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna do some experimenting.
Just send an SMS.
And of course, that's a really cool service to offer in Indonesia because there's millions of people that can't afford a smartphone, and even if they can't afford a smartphone, you're providing a way for them to participate.
Yeah. Exactly.
And they just need to send SMS messages to do that.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's
very interesting. I only now see how deep this is. Maybe you can make a presentation someday how this gets.
Yeah, exactly. I've been told there's not much time today, so therefore very short. But we are developing an app currently so that it can be integrated with a smartphone. And once this is done and we're back to Bali, then we will have a bigger presentation and show the app.
Cool.
Yeah, but with app is very easy. You know, we have apps like.
But
But I think it's how you make with this small phone. You send an SMS. Where's the wallet? And how these things happen.
Yeah, the app is more for marketing, so the people that have a smartphone have it easier.
Yes. Yes. All right. So we can do a presentation like when you get back to Bali.
The technical stuff. The technical is very interesting how to do it.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Okay, so let's get on to the meat of the show tonight. We've got a very special guest with us, but let me give you a little bit of background first. Back in January, a bunch of us, a contingent from Bali, visited the Inside Bitcoins conference in Singapore, and it was basically people from all over the region, people from Hong Kong, people from Singapore. There's a lot going on there. Got together. There were lots of presentations, and our guest tonight is Roberto Capiodeci.
Yeah, Capodies.
Okay, I'm sorry. Capiodeci. Sorry.
I encrypted my family name.
And he was one of the folks that was with us, and at the conference, he was approached by these guys from Startup Bootcamp FinTech Singapore, right? With that, why don't I let you take it away? Maybe you can explain a little bit about how that happened, and then introduce your company and their interest, and then how it all took off.
Sure. It's been pretty much random. I was sitting at the table having lunch, and I went to Singapore just because somebody from the NXT community, NXT is a crypto platform, right? Was sick, and they needed somebody to participate to the panel. So really last minute, I bought a flight and I joined the group. I went there to participate to 2 panels. And then during lunch, somebody approached me, was curious about the project I was working on, and said, why don't you send the project to this email? And I did. And I forgot about it. And then I've been contacted that my project being selected out of 300 projects to be part of a final selection for TS Startup Bootcamp. So we went, and now I am spending 3 months in Singapore, which is a life quite different from Bali, and it's causing me a lot of traumas. But it is an amazing experience participating to this program here, to this startup. A lot of learning, a lot of super intelligent and amazing people. I feel very lucky, actually. is a school for free with a lot of opportunities, right?
So maybe it makes sense to show them the little movie about Debune. So we're going to talk about his project first, and then we'll also get into the underlying cryptocurrency which supports it. But let's start with the little movie here.
Hey, how are you? Everything good? How about your business? Great? Wonderful. You have every reason to be proud of your achievement. But if you are always on the lookout for ways to improve your business, don't pop the champagne just yet. Think about the next step. Going global, working on bigger projects, selling your business's skills or product in a better and faster way, maybe raising funds for that great idea you've been trying to bring to life. Why not an IPO? What if you are a small business? Would it be possible to act like a huge corporation, even if there's a huge difference in size? Something exciting is about to unfold. The business world is opening up wider than ever. Welcome to Debune, a decentralized business network which gives you the infrastructure and safety so far only accessible to massive companies, added to something no giant can match: agility. This will shatter the barrier that makes mid-level businesses like yours stutter in many respects. How does that sound? Don't you want to have more opportunities to develop your business in whichever way you want? Debune is an online, browsable network of independent business units. A photo studio, a toy manufacturer, an accounting firm. You, when you join us later, small to medium companies which focus on being great at what they are doing and outsource for each other all the skills they are not specialized in. Debune's unique concept makes it possible for all business units to regroup and work together as a whole, creating dynamic structures able to handle any project of any size. Debune isn't just another networking event or a freelancer database. Debune does many things that will change the way business is done, thanks to the technology powering it. Next is a crypto platform. Now, don't be scared by the sound of it. Crypto platform is not a bad thing. It's actually a framework that offers tons of advantages to enhance the way you run your business. Crypto platform lends game-changing features for your business, like an online encrypted currency that enables exchanges everywhere on the planet without having to worry about conversions and rates. And at the same time, you'd still be able to pay with your own country's currency if needed. Moreover, there is no third-party organism to control that currency. The market really does regulate itself. Smart contracts. Digital contracts that make it possible to process any transaction founded on precisely defined terms to put this cryptocurrency to good use. Asset exchange. Do you want to go public? Are you looking for investors for your business? Are you raising funds for a new project? Next lets you turn mostly anything, including your business unit, into assets and sell or distribute the shares as you see fit. And you can be confident about the procedure because smart contracts will take care of the details. A revolutionary secure data storage system, the blockchain, which is distributed amongst many nodes in the network. These nodes, which can only work in sync, store and encrypt transactions and contract data permanently. They can be neither edited nor tampered with. Once data is created, it won't disappear no matter what. Added to that, Debune and Next are working together to integrate a real review and rating system directly into the blockchain. So your skills get praised by real people from real companies who work with you on real projects. It makes it much easier to find the partners you need or to be found by them. So if you are content with what you've achieved now, just wait until you experience the previously unthinkable opportunities in a secure, decentralized business network where no one has the control over you but yourself. So, who said you needed to be big in order to do big things? You've got all the tools already, all in one spot. Sounds exciting? Come learn more and join us.
How much does it cost? Who did this film?
another company has.
So first of all, I think this is like it's really a great video. I mean, there's a lot of complicated ideas that you're trying to convey in there.
That has
Right.
been my big problem in Singapore. It's too complicated.
Yeah.
And this has created a little bit of issuing in solving the classic question: what problem the Bune solve? So many, and there is no specific problem, and we don't offer a specific solution. So they didn't really like the Bune.
Okay. Well,
Yet the traction that it created is being huge. But it helped us to shape a specific idea built on the Bune technology, which is the handling of a letter of credit, a bill of lading for all the banking industry. Something very complicated. I don't want to go in detail of, but banks are going nuts. They're calling us, want to understand, learn. And I find very interesting because what I want to explain later is to make a little bit of split division concept from what it is. People just think Bitcoin as a one unique thing, while it's important to split in three. One is the Bitcoin, one is the software that runs the node or the client to access it, and one is the network. So in synthesis, you have the use that you do of it, the software technology, and the network, the support. Because these three things are very separated and are not compulsorily put together. So you can have one technology and one network, but do a different use. People save ashes of fat on the Bitcoin blockchain, for example, to do proof of existence. I can go in detail on this later.
So wait, what are the three things? You've got the
use that you do of things. So starting from below, you have a network of nodes that participate to a common scope. You have a technology, which is a software that run these nodes, right, to run a blockchain, and then it's the use that you do of it. You do Bitcoin, right, which you do transaction, but in reality, you can actually do many other things that are not financial related or
right. So something besides money. You can take Bitcoin technology or blockchain technology and do something besides money, which is what you're talking about.
Because the technology underneath Bitcoin is really disrupting. The Bitcoin gives the power and the interest to keep it running, but the technology itself has some qualities that are amazing and that can be used for many other scopes beside the financial transactions. So, and is in fact what is a big exploration that is being done by many startups. We as well. In fact, the Bune, for example, allow business processes, a business-to-business transaction. There is also closing an agreement, closing a deal, using the blockchain as a guarantee for both parties. It doesn't have to involve financial transaction. So there is people recording the blockchain, their wedding certificate or the birth certificate. But even better for country where institutions are not to be trusted a lot. I don't know, like some developing country, for example, land property. Let's say if it's a registry of ownership of land that is kept by hand in paper registry, a corrupted officer can delete the name of this poor family they've been saving for years to buy a piece of land, put the name of his cousin, and these people lost the land. If the land certification property is saved on the blockchain, not even the IT technician sitting in front of the computer can change the data for the nature of how the blockchain is built, because it's built on cryptography. So the security is not given by the limiting access to the network, username and password, but it's given by cryptography. Because of this reason, nobody can actually change data. So the user many.
So with Bitcoin, you were able to replace money. Governments providing the service of money. You replace that with a trustless system. And now you're looking at other systems that you can apply a trustless architecture to. For example, you had the example of land and title. Correct. If I have a piece of land and I want to sell that piece of land, if we record it with a government, then there can be corruption. Someone can put their cousin's name on a form, and then all of a sudden the money that you thought you gave for the land is not legally true in the legal framework for wherever you are. And if they were to move that kind of thing onto a trustless system like a blockchain, then you wouldn't have to, there would be no opportunity for corruption, because you would have this unimpeachable public system to refer to for such things. Right?
In fact, NXT is a crypto platform and deploy a lot of things that are not only financially related. And we can see if you want to show the slide. I can even go through the.
Should we go to the slides now?
I don't know. There is something else you want to do.
No,
Yeah.
that's good.
I mean, I like to evangelize a little bit NXT as what they call blockchain 2.0 or a next generation of crypto. In fact, it's a crypto platform, not a cryptocurrency. This is the client. This is the client where people operate, and is actually quite complex. In the Bitcoin, the only things that you do is you send money to someone, you receive money to someone, you look at your last transaction and how much deposit you have, and that's it. It's finished, right? Here there is a full planet of things. In fact, it would be nice if slowly it's going to be limited to many different applications we want to use each. Anyway, the first disruption that there is the use of what they call brain password. So the security is given by this is randomly generated. Long wife admire had a sweet land got and this sign bedroom mom about. In reality, it can be even a random string of characters. I use random string of characters generated by computer, not by humans, because humans are predictable.
Question: NXT is fully decentralized, right? That's like their thing. They're
Identical
total
to blockchain.
decentralization.
Identical to Bitcoin.
So when you're creating an account, who are you creating an account with?
This is what the technology that happened also with Bitcoin underneath is, I don't know how prepared people is, but there is what is called a secret phrase in cryptography, which is a string of text that you only keep for yourself, you don't share with anybody,
Right,
with a mathematical algorithm generates which is your account. In fact, if you mistake one single character of the secret phrase, your account number changes. In fact, with Bitcoin is the client app to manage this secret password. People don't really look at them because in Bitcoin, every time you do a different transaction, there is a new account that people start receiving different accounts. It's a little bit messy. I don't really know if no, because it doesn't really guarantee anonymity because with a good software you can track it down, but it's just messy. Here, one account, one ID, because this ID is centric NXT. So you are you, and you're gonna be you forever unless you disclose the phrase with somebody else.
Okay.
If you already have a phrase, next slide, you will just ask to type in the phrase. You type in the phrase, you can remember it in a buffer, and then you access.
So do you remember when you log in? Do you remember a big long phrase like that?
No, I have a system to keep them safe, but I have 260 random characters created by the computer. I had my bad experience to have a very silly phrase. People put the first phrase of the Bible. Naturally, somebody can find it out and steal it, the money or whatever else is inside. Okay. Next, and we log in, and this is while loading data. Next slide, when the data are loaded. So we have the balance, which will match the Bitcoin. If 1 unit was worth 1 Bitcoin, I wouldn't be here talking to you. I would be holidaying in a nice island because there are a lot. But one NXT, which the value is quite pegged to Bitcoin because the exchange to Bitcoin, goes between 1 to 2 US dollar cents per Bitcoin. So this is about I don't know, $15,000 of worth. Then there is the asset value, and I'm gonna go on the asset later. Is a sort of stock market. You can buy a set of Apple, etc., but of company that put their share on the NXT blockchain.
So I could start like Gary Incorporated, and I could sell shares.
Correct.
Create shares.
For example,
NXT.
if the Bitcoin through cell phone that we saw through SMS that we saw before was a company and was on the blockchain, I would invest in it immediately. So I would go there and purchase some share. The Bune, when I did the IPO on the NXT blockchain, I collected the equivalent to $25,000 in dollars from the opening.
Wow.
So,
how much did you raise?
Yeah, $25,000 at the time worth of NXT in a few hours. I put a slice starting from 6 NXT per share at a little price going up, and they went sold. I didn't even manage to buy the cheapest myself. I just posted the logout, went to buy, they were already gone. So that's quite amazing. Okay, next slide.
Are the requirements difficult to IPO in a Bitcoin exchange?
This is NXT blockchain. No, it's as simple as going in and doing it. Nobody. This is decentralized.
The hard part is
correct.
the marketing, right? Getting people to actually think that this thing you're creating has value.
Correct. Because there is, in fact, I would say 80% of the things that are scams. So you need to really know who is and how is. But yeah.
Well, in the States, this is a highly regulated field.
In fact, I had a talk with two lawyers that actually work for regulatory commission in Europe. And I felt to be in elementary school when the bully come and try to say, if you don't give me your snack, I'm gonna punch on the face. Because the conversation, and I said, this is the first time I meet a lawyer, they're not bringing me a letter. So that I already made me feel much more comfortable. Anyway, so here you can see that the blockchain is downloading. I've been in Singapore a long time, so I came back to Bali, and the blockchain in my computer wasn't up to date. So when I started the client today to prepare the slides, the blockchain was not fully downloaded.
So like the Bitcoin blockchain, it's a ledger that everybody in the entire world can see, and everyone works off the one single ledger. And when your software is offline for a little while, you turn it on and it has to resync.
Because in this case, it's like if I'm running a mining node. So I do have all the blockchain in my computer. It's very light compared to the Bitcoin blockchain. And still though, if you don't use it for a long time, when you reboot, it's gonna take long. That's why there is also a client that work connecting to a remote blockchain. So it doesn't force people to have the blockchain in their computer, but just make it think faster. Okay, so the blockchain is downloading. And then the messages that come up, it says the request timed out because naturally it's not today, so you cannot broadcast attempted transaction because, all right. Then here the blockchain is downloaded, but I can see that my asset, I own 17 assets and they're worth this amount of NXT because
so wait, what do we
the second square.
This one?
Yeah, that shows the worth of my assets. So my shares, my stock.
So you've got 17 different assets that are
I
NXT assets?
invested in 17 different businesses that they are stock in, and this is the current value based on the market of sell and buy. So
that they're worth 726,000 NXT.
Worth.
Right. Okay.
Altogether, yeah. Mostly it's the Bunnego.
And so is there like a marketplace, like you can look at all the projects that are out there and say, I want to buy stock in the Uber replacement built on NXT, or the escrow company built on NXT, or Debunay maybe.
Right.
So there's a going price for the Debunay stock.
As you can see on the left side, there is a menu with several different areas. The functionality the NXT offer in the blockchain. Let's consider all this run in the blockchain. It's not in one server or whatever. It's totally decentralized. And I'm gonna go through that very fast. But anyway, in the bottom, I can see the recent transaction. And I have to say that this is the old client. There is a new client that is much more nice that is coming out soon. It's still in beta. I didn't show it because it's even more complex. So, okay, next slide.
What's the worth of the 726?
Yeah, about $7,000. Yeah. At today exchange. But yeah, that's the thing about these economies, right? You always hope people think only in Bitcoin, right? Like I earn and spend Bitcoin, so it doesn't have the referral to. In fact, I always say it's not the Bitcoin that goes up and down, it's the dollar that goes up and down.
Yeah,
respect to the Bitcoin.
Because the Bitcoin supply is fixed, yeah.
Okay, this shows the peers that I'm connected to. This is the same mechanics of downloading movie from the internet. Like, I'm sure nobody ever did it, but there is this thing about you can download movie from the internet and it's in a peer-to-peer. So these are the peers where I am connected that are transferring data where I can broadcast my transactions, right? Next slide.
So wait, these are all the peers that are connected to you or to the network, or that you can see?
Yeah, those that I'm connected to. I can blacklist someone if I think it's not reliable because it just slow down my process. But pretty much,
all of them are running this NXT software so that they can all cooperate.
Which is called an NRS. Different versions. Somebody is 1.4, 1.5 is the beta version, which is the new, right? So that's our older version. I'm all set in red because my blockchain is still downloading.
Okay.
These are the blocks. So this is the first interesting things I will say. Bitcoin has a block every 10 minutes, right? So when you wait 5 confirmation, you have to wait 50 minutes.
So one block every 10 minutes for Bitcoin.
Yes,
And
correct.
it's different for
NXT is 1.5 minutes, just a little more than a minute each in average. You see, 2053, 2105, this took like 7 seconds to come out, but there are other that takes a little longer. It always depends on the complexity.
So how long before you feel like it's certain that it will be
Well,
on the blockchain?
The blockchain of NXT is structured like this. Every 1 day is wrapped up together. It's 1,440 blocks for 24 hours in average. So there is still something to do in the last. So the total security is 24 hours, right?
Okay, so if I sell you a yacht and I'm waiting for $1 million to clear,
Correct.
should I wait a day?
You should wait a day because that's the guarantee that we didn't do the operation in a fork of the blockchain. So a blockchain fork can endure for 24 hours, and then after that it remains a fork. That fork. So technically, if let's say Bali get totally isolated from the rest of the world internet-wise, and in Bali there are 10 Bitcoin miners. When you go around and spend your Bitcoin, your operation is still accepted and is only recorded in these miners and not broadcast to the rest of the world. So outside Bali, you still have the Bitcoin that you actually have spent in Bali. This is called a fork, so a sort of ramification of the blockchain. There is a certain length after which there is no way back, right? And this, in the case of NXT, is 1 day. So the guarantee of the stability of the operation is given 1 day, but a few confirmation, a few minutes are enough usually. You just check whether you're connected to. If the peers is only 5, then there is to be worried, right?
Right. Okay.
All right. So next. First interesting thing. Alias system. The alias system is a sort of DNS, for those that understand computer, is where you can combine 2 pieces of text. So you say this name goes to this person. For example, I registered Frisch.
Yeah. Did you look there? Yeah. Wait, so an alias is different names for the same account?
No, you can actually use it. In fact, there is one organization that is called Hyperborea that has an underground internet, not connected through the phone company, but connected through only the routers. They reprogram routers and they have internet going with IPv6. They use NXT as a DNS. So if you go www.name of the server, it doesn't go to check to your ISP, because naturally they don't even have one. It goes in the NXT blockchain, and that is where
that's where it keeps the DNS records?
Exactly. And the blockchain, nobody can touch it, so there is no way a government can censor a website or block or become...
Right, so DNS is another example of something that can be replaced by blockchain technology.
Absolutely, which would be amazing to do it, because that's the way it keeps a total audit of what happened before, where the address changes. So,
so right now we rely on centralized organizations to keep track of, if I have www.gary.com, I have to register with a centralized organization, and if they decide to turn me off because they don't like my website, they can do that. If we do it with a blockchain, then it's...
Only they also monitor who is requesting to access your website, right? So this is another things that the blockchain can do, and the NXT already has implemented. We can go next slide. This is messaging. So there is a messaging system that can be done between users. Message can be totally encrypted, so only the 2 users can read the content, or can be decrypted, so everybody that can access the blockchain can read the message. This is another very interesting, useful thing. Consider the identities are very certified. If 2 people enter in an agreement and they want to disclose to the world, they can send a message to each other saying, we agree it is, the other person reply, and everybody knows that is guaranteed.
So this is also on the blockchain, the messaging system?
Everything that we see is on the blockchain.
And the blockchain lasts forever, so if I...
there is in the new version, there is another option to never delete the message or delete the message, because it can make the blockchain too big. So if I want it for longer time, I pay more, but the blockchain prunes automatically and remain small, unless people trigger it to keep the whole thing anyway. So if I have a big...
That's a big difference between the NXT blockchain and Bitcoin blockchain, because the Bitcoin blockchain is like once it's there forever.
There are things here that are here forever. For example, the financial transaction. But other things that I only need for a month, I can just decide to automatically get them eliminated from the blockchain. So when the block processes, they slim down the blockchain so people don't find themselves with a terabyte of blockchain in their computer, right?
Okay.
Okay.
And you still pay for every message, right?
So what?
For every message you send, you pay one next.
You pay always, every transaction is one NXT fee. In
So
fact,
one message is a transaction.
everything that you operate in the blockchain, whatever you broadcast with the blockchain is a transaction.
So while you're sitting here using this client, you send somebody a message, you're spending a little bit of NXT.
Yeah, you pay a fee. Like, in fact, I like to think to NXT not as a cryptocurrency, but more as tokens that you have to use to write on the blockchain, right? This is keep the contact. This is not on the blockchain. This is local on the computer. So is the contact list is not saving the blockchain.
You're dealing with some pretty shady folks, I see.
Okay, next slide. This is the marketplace. You can set product for sale on the blockchain. It's still also decentralized, and there is all the process of putting a product for sale, people purchasing it, you delivering it, people complain, you're giving them a discount. Is all managed in the blockchain. As you see,
so Craigslist, like we got Craigslist on the blockchain,
correct, exactly.
right out of the box.
There is also illegal stuff, obviously, because
cannabis.
exactly. If you scroll, there is an example of
People are more interested in games. There's more games than drugs here.
And there, most of these are tests. You can go next slide.
So that's a really interesting thing, though. This is all built into NXT. We're not even talking about WNA or any of these other companies yet.
This
is just NXT.
Correct.
Of course, the dominoes and cannabis are right on top of each other.
Music, for example, these are things that clicking in one, I purchase it and they send to me. There is somebody that did something very nice with a small server-side application. They did the lottery scratch cards. So you purchase the scratch card, they send you a message inside the blockchain with a link. You go in the link, you scratch the card on the monitor. I actually scratched my monitor at the beginning. I didn't understand use the mouse. And then when you win, they send you the NXT you win on the blockchain. So you get out of the blockchain for the scratching part because naturally it's not implemented inside the client. But the new version has the possibility to implement plugins. So people can actually have the scratch card into the client itself. So it's all decentralized. Pretty interesting. Okay?
That's wild.
This is how I put the product for sale. Item name, description, tags for the categories, the price, and how many quantity are available. So while I'm still selling it, they decrease quantity. Simple. Okay, next. This is a scratch card that I purchased as an example. I paid $50.
And you were saying that all of the like the reputation system and the customer feedback and was it delivered, was it not delivered, all that is built into
NXT has a long way to go to be completely developed. There is a huge plan ahead and we are still working. I'm part of the development team as well, not directly, but with one of my programmers. And there is a website, a very nice website we can open later that show what has been done yet and what's still to be done for the NXT. All right, next slide. These are currencies. This is another amazing thing that can be done on the NXT blockchain. People can create other cryptocurrencies to be run on top of the NXT blockchain. And next slide, you can see one example of creation of currency.
Is this different from the shares or the IPO?
Yes, it's another thing.
Okay.
In fact, many people use this also to sort of crowdfunding because the functionality that there are very particular. So you decide the name, a code can be 3, 4, or 5 letters, the description, and then you can choose. People can exchange this currency one with another or not. So once they have the give, you can be controlled, can be reserved. So let's say I want to create a new cryptocurrency, but I want to collect $10,000 in order to give a value. So people can reserve donating or not donating, putting a deposit in advance. If the $10,000 are reached, then the currency is created and the money are kept. Else, everybody receives.
So are you describing a crowdfunding?
It's exactly a crowdfunding.
So there's also a crowdfunding platform?
Absolutely correct. The interface is horrible, but people can implement easily website for the interface to make it much more. I'm gonna show later the API. And then you can decide even the initial supply, the total supply. So if we want, we can clone Bitcoin in a second. You can see how much are available, and then you can mine it. So the algorithm mine, you can use exactly the same algorithm of Bitcoin. So you need to run a miner with the hash and everything to run this currency here. The only handicap that there is that to transfer currency, you still need to pay the NXT fee in NXT and not in the other currency. So they are not 100% independent under the
Okay, so let's check in with the audience here. Are you guys getting like what this is? I mean, we got Bitcoin, that's just money. This is what everyone has heard about. NXT took a lot of the ideas behind Bitcoin, the technology behind Bitcoin, and obviously took it to a whole different level where they're able to recreate stock IPOs. People can create their own money. They can exchange money. There's a messaging platform. All of that is done with the same kind of technology that Bitcoin is, but they've created their own. They've kind of taken the ball and run with it.
And I have to say that there is something very interesting about NXT. There is a lot of other people might have heard Ethereum, for example, which is another project for cryptocurrency. They collected $20 million almost in funding. They talked a lot. They still develop. That with 21 Bitcoin at the time, they were worth a little bit less than $1,000. So let's say $20,000.